We're going to create a new profile, and we're going to show you how to set up a motion detector and show you different applications with that. So we'll just go ahead and just call it motion detector profile. And so the motion detectors are set up on digital IO1 or digital IO2, either one. You could use two, but you really don't need them. The motion detectors have really good range. So what we would do is go ahead and set up whatever channel we want to trigger. So if we wanted to turn on a light with the motion, we could just say, okay, set up a switch, set it to go on by trigger. We could have the light trigger for, let's say, 10 minutes, like if it were an overhead stove light. If we wanted to run more than one thing, we could obviously assign the trigger into a group and then assign another component like this component down here into the same group, but that's not really necessary, so we can deploy that, and this will this will be say we plug a light into this channel. The way we'd set a motion detector up is we simply select a digital IO. For this particular configuration, we can just go ahead and select the pin that we want to deploy. And there it goes. So then when this motion's triggered, this light will trigger for 10 minutes. So if we want to do some different things, what we can do is, okay, let's do a multi-detect trigger. So as long as this triggers, let's say, 2 times within 20 seconds. I think the threshold's 20 seconds or so. And it takes about 3 or 4 seconds between each trigger before it can trigger again. So there's a lag. So 3 to 5 second lag. So we could do a multi-detect trigger. So two detects within 20 seconds or so, and that could trigger the whatever we're trying to trigger. We could also delay the triggering, 30 seconds. So whenever a motion trigger is triggered, it would delay this action down here, the trigger action, 30 seconds. That's what the trigger delay is. So that's something you could do as well. So hopefully we explained that all right. So a couple applications. This right here, this application, single detect trigger, you would use for a motion detect switch. Another thing you could do is not set up anything really. Don't do any trigger action and just have a motion detect. You could set it to a single or multi-trigger and then have a trigger action disabled. Don't do anything, but enable a trigger alert. So device name detects motion. So, and then what this would do is this would send an alert depending on your IoT account package. You'd either get a daily notification, or if you're paying for a premium package, you can kind of get real-time alerts there. So what is interesting though is you can set this to a dynamic profile and set it to be active from only a certain time. And then you don't even have to have the alert. You can just kind of just set it on a trigger algorithm. It really doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do an alert, but it triggers, it'll still log data. So that's kind of cool too. You would select trigger group if you wanted to do a trigger group. And that's kind of that aspect. So another application maybe that you might want to do with this is just kind of a simple alarm. So the way we do an alarm is down here we would go to, let's say it did the second digital IO, and we would actually have that as an output. And that mode, the on cycle, we would set to high. Actually, no, that's a cycle. If we were going to do a cycle, we were going to do a trigger on a high. So what we would do is when it triggers, we would maybe turn it on for 4 seconds. And then just click deploy. So this sets a device or a component up to be triggered for 4 seconds. And what we're going to plug in here is simply a buzzer. So we'll do an output buzzer and we'll plug that there. That's deployed, ready to go. But now with our motion detector, what we've got to do is go back here and trigger that output. So that output is now being triggered by the motion detector. We could have put that in a group, and we can trigger, groups of elements and things like that. But that's it. We're good to go. That profile's ready in that use case too. So you can do all kinds of funny things with the motion detector and trigger different elements, and you can just use it as a data recorder. It's really useful if you want to obviously set up motion detect applications or pranks or monitor certain areas. If you want to understand if certain areas are being accessed during certain points in time during the day, that's pretty cool too. And with the dynamic scheduling of profiles, you can have the motion detect come into Sentry mode at desired times, and that's really cool too. So thanks everybody for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll keep coming out with more profile videos. All right, have a good day.